Today, Russia itself has become dependent on resources, particularly from China.
Russia is essentially turning into a satellite, a proxy force of China. And I don't believe that in 2022, when Putin began this reckless adventure, he foresaw such an outcome. At this moment, Russia is losing part of its sovereignty to China. It is the Chinese who will increasingly define Russian policy. In this sense, I think the Russian elites, and Putin personally, have already resigned themselves to this reality.
And as states free themselves from Russian influence, they are building new alliances, where there is no place for Russia.
The first case that proved extremely painful for the Kremlin was Uzbekistan between 2012 and 2017. But today, Uzbekistan can hardly be seen as a country following in the footsteps of Vladimir Putin's victims. Uzbekistan's primary partner is now the People's Republic of China. The next step was Kazakhstan. Let us recall 2022, the CSTO troop deployment, and so on. It seemed like Russia had entrenched itself. But after signals from China and Turkey, the CSTO pulled out. Now, developments in Kyrgyzstan are moving in the same direction, away from Russia's grip. Tajikistan as well.
Russia is rapidly losing influence in regions it once considered its domain. One by one, allies turn their backs on the Kremlin, disgusted by its betrayal, arrogance, and military impotence.
Putin is absolutely convinced. We are Russia, and everything is permitted to us. But no, it isn't. Not because of some other force, but because against every power, there will always be another. He should not have tried to smash his head against the wall, especially when that wall was already rotten. And who showed this most clearly? Ukraine. Without Ukraine, the balance of power would look very different.
By unleashing war against Ukraine, Putin never imagined that it would be on Ukrainian soil that Russian power would be buried, along with its great power delusions and imperial ambitions. In Africa, the Middle East, Central Asia, the Caucasus, where once Russia dominated, fear of it is gone. Allies are weary of humiliation and betrayal. Enemies no longer take it into account. This is no longer an empire of influence, but a Chinese vassal. The terms are now dictated by other players, while Putin merely tries to save face, begging for soldiers and resources to fuel his war around the world in exchange for the remnants of Russian sovereignty.